Hey guys, welcome to another video on the Kotali YouTube channel. So in my previous videos, we have seen how we can implement the REST controller, how we can pass the parameters as a request and response, and also we have seen the headers. So let me show you the output ones. So here, if you see, I am passing a JSON object here of the student type, which is I have defined having student ID and name here. So when I'm passing it, I am getting the response onto the console here. This is my onto the response here. Let's say like I have passed something like this, okay, and I got the response as null here. So this response in UL time what happens will be handled by Angular. So let's say like our web application is built on Angular or the React, and our backend is built with the Spring Boot. So this is actually handled by Angular. And are we sending a proper message to the Angular whether the response is clear or not? How do they handle it? Well, let me show you with other response here. So I have another service response as like this. Let me show you with this. Okay, then if you see here, this is actually a proper response, isn't it? Okay, and if I remove this one and execute it, if you see here, status as failure in this case. If I add something, then the status as success. So some field is based on this field, if it is failure or the success or the status code field. Okay, if I give this as a null or the empty value, status code as 400, so error message is something is there. So based on this field, actually in Angular we can able to handle it very efficiently. So this part, this is the response of the our microservice, which is a post microservice here, is actually called as response entity. Okay, so this part we are going to discuss as part of this video, response entity, how to build the response entity object. Okay, so let's get into the video guys directly. So response will have two kinds of things guys. So response will have, usually response entity will have the status message and the body message. Okay, and if something happens, we are going to give the error message as well. Okay, so these things I'll show you here. As I said, status, body, and error message, right? So accordingly, I'll create my response bean here. So this is my response package here. Something like I'll take a class called student response bean. Okay. If I take here, I'll show few things here. Yeah. So like private string error message, just in case there is an error. Private string status of the API call here. Private int status code I'm going to send here, and here I have to send the response, right? If everything is good, I have to send the response in this format. Let's say like this format. Okay, this is a student type. In your case it might be different guys. So this student is actually my input bin, this one. So I'm going to send this in my response here. How? Simply use private student of student type. Okay, this student will go into import. Now we have set our response bean here. Now what I need to do, I need to get the setters, getters, toString. Okay, so setter, sorry, not setter, setter, getter, and toString method. Okay, I have this ready. Next, what I'll do is, now let me go to the control and define some method here. Okay, controller, sorry, I have a post mapping here, and value is equal to, let me take as student response object. Okay, and it is going to consumes media type dot application underscore json value. So it is going to consume the json value. At the same time, it is going to produce the json value, isn't it? So media type dot application underscore json value. Okay, this is done. Then this is a post mapping, right? Now this is interesting, guys. This you need to be more careful here. Post mapping, I think I already have. um, well, we'll see this here. Response entity, okay, of what type? Of my student's response bean, student response bean. Okay, of, let's say, like student response post call. Okay, here student response bean I am importing, and I am passing response body as what? Response body as my response body as a student in this case. Okay, let's say like s response body I have imported, right? Now this allowed for this location post mapping here. Just a minute, guys. Response, not response, sorry, it's a request body. Request body, request body. Okay, then here once I save it, if I go to my service method, I am implementing this one, right? So I am, I'm implementing this one. Okay, this is my method where sorry, this is my method, sorry, this is a method we need to discuss more. Let me put like this: response entity of student response. Okay, so what I'll do here is, I'm going to, based on my input, if the name is empty, I am going to send the null response or some error message. If the name is proper, I am going to send the actual response here. Okay, so what I need to do here is, as I said, if the name is empty, that means s dot get name. S is nothing but student, right? S dot get name. Let me show you the student object here. Student object is having student ID and name. So I am defining that here student response. Here student dot get name is actually dot is empty. If it is empty, what I need to do? If it is not empty, what I need to do? Okay, so in this case, my student response, that means the object I am passing here, that means something like this, is actually empty. Okay, when it's empty, what I need to do here? Okay, when it's empty, the status is 400 or something other than 200, and some error message as student name is empty and body will be null, right? So that thing I have to show here. if you see this response entity of student response bean, so let me create an object of student response bean. Student response bean SB is equal to new student response bean object I have been created. Okay, so when it's empty, okay, that means SB dot set status code as 400 and SB dot set status miss status as something like failure, and when my status SB is failure, I need to set my error message as something like student name is empty. Okay, this part, once I have set this part, okay, set, sorry, it should be set, not get, set error message as empty. Once I set this part, I need to return my response object. So return response entity of, that means response entity dot here bad request dot body of, what is the body here, SB student response is my body. Okay, if it is not empty, that means everything is good here, then SB dot set student, this one, if you see in my response bean, I have a student type, right? So when my student name is not empty, that student is actually being set to this one, right? So sp dot set student of this one input s, then sb dot set status as something like success, success, success. Okay, then sb dot set status code as 200, then I am returning, I don't need to put error message here, it will be automatically set as null here. So is now I need to return this object, so response entity of, response entity of, okay, okay, then body as SB, there is a student response bean, I can remove this return statement. Okay, now if you see here, this is my response, so this is my post call, I have started executing the project here. Now go to my soap UI here, this is my uh, resource, and when the name is not empty, why I am handling the name thing here, here I'm handling the name thing when it is not empty, this being set, right? So when there is a name which is not been empty, now you could see the status as success, status code as 200, and student object being set properly. When the student name is empty, guys, okay, then you could see student is returned null with the status code as failure. So my Angular will actually use the status code and the status field, then it will handle it properly instead of sending it direct response. It is a really good practice to use response entity object. Okay, so this is a small demo on the response entity object in Spring Boot, guys. I hope this video is informative for you guys. If you found it useful, please do like, share and subscribe to my channel, and also do watch other videos on my channel. So these are the videos on the Spring Boot as of now, and I will be adding many more. So this is a 8th video. Thank you so much for watching.